Wait, now's the go live here. And message. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino. Welcome back to my channel, the number one place for the more mature entrepreneur to go when they are interested in learning methods of content marketing that actually drives traffic to your business so that you can do more business. If you're a more mature, older entrepreneur, even if you're well into your 30s and older, and you're like, all this content marketing sounds like busy work, how's it ever going to get me to actual conversions, like sales at the end of the day? That's the most popular macro conversion. Well, this is a channel to go to because I don't just teach you like cool, trendy things to do with social media. Like, that's fun. There's a lot of other people doing that. But what people need more of, which I try to supply more of, is an explanation about how to actually get the three most important macro conversions, one platform and piece of content at a time, that any entrepreneur with a real live business that has to make money needs. Yeah, more followers are great. That's great for social proof and to create a brand-based community. That's macro conversion number one, but you can't deposit followers in the bank, right? But number two is getting more people to sign up for your email list. That's lead capture, because you're going to get 3/4 of your sales from month to month from your email list if you're doing things right. And that's one of the best ways to get repeat customers and loyal customers as well. And then, of course, the third macro conversion is sales. That's every entrepreneur's favorite thing. Now, so if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you click that big red subscribe button. Click the bell notification and select all, because every day in the month of January 2022, I'm going live. Mostly it's at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Times. Depending upon my schedule, I might have to go a little earlier or a little later from my start time. If you're on my email list, you will get information from day to day about what I'm going live about and when. So you can go visit don'tbeafakeguru, all one word.com. It's also in the show notes down below. That's for my 2022 free opt-in. It's 10 ways to be seen as a thought leader in your space as opposed to turning people off at the end of the day. It's a nice guide to help you with that. So nice little freebie. You get on the email list and you learn about all the lives. If for any reason you have missed any of the previous live streams that have gone down in January 2022, because we're doing one a day every day in January 2022, yes, every training can more or less stay on its own. You can benefit from them. They can be taken on their own. But for best results, you do want to go back from day one all the way through. I can't believe it's day 20. I can't believe it's January 20th already while this is live. That is crazy. Holy moly. Okay, let's see. You can't hear me? It's got to be you. Can everybody else hear me? Say yes, I can hear you. That would be bad if I was on here jawing away and no one could hear me, but my mic is on. I have everything go through my my mic. So that's got to be fine. So really quickly, I'm going to greet all the students and we're going to get into today's training. How many of you have heard of the Home Edit? They're really big on Instagram and they have their own show, I believe, on Netflix. Let me know. Yes, everybody else can hear me, which is fine. It's got to be the one person. So definitely refresh. The February popularity plan, that's 15 graphics, 15 corresponding captions, and 4 templated emails. Okay, so the popularity plan, it's already in the show notes for the people on the replay as well, but check out the popularity plan. Most of my students get the popularity plan. A lot of my students, we're going to get into the Home Edit training just in one quick second, but I just need to make the announcement because it's only available for a couple of days. The popularity plan for February, it's a pack for $37. You get 15 graphics that are kind of like, acknowledging the current month that it's going to be in, which is February, but otherwise staying more neutral tones so anyone can use it. So 15 graphics for February, 15 corresponding templated social media captions that I myself write, fill in the blanks, tweak the language if you need to. Then you have basically half of the daily posts that you need to cover on the top 2 social media platforms that are most important to your niche. And then also in that same $37 bundle, you get 4 templated emails, fill in the blanks or tweak the language. And one is assigned to every single week in the month of February. In this case, I'm going to greet all my students and then we're going to get right into the trainings. But if you've missed any of the prior trainings, I pinned it live and it'll be the first pinned comment on the replay. So you can get to all the other free trainings that are here. It's everybody's favorite blacksmith. Mike Reinhardt is here. Heidi from Stuff and Junk by Heidi is here. And McDonald is here. Sandy B is here. What's up, Miss Sandy B? Amy Lynn Blade, can you hear me now? Everybody else is saying they can hear me, so that's a good thing. Oh, she said had to reboot, but now I can hear you. Yep. On Chicken Swell is here. I love that. That's the name of her shop, too. So cute. Miss Lenore Love is here. Miss Lenore, good to see you. And Shailene Music and More is here. What a cool name. Love that. Glad you're with us, Shailene. Bridget is here. Personal Space Creations is here. Michael Core, top of the morning to you. Good to see you, Mr. Michael Cole. Miss Tiffany from Unbound by Tiffany is here. Good going. And Susie B from the Speckled Loon by Susie B is here. All right. Hashtag live, hashtag replay. If you are watching this video on the replay, I'm still going to give you a thumbs up and a heart to show you that you've been seen. And of course, live or on the replay, if you have any questions about the training for today, you can certainly ask them. For at least a day going back, I try to circle back to see if I get any strays and answer any questions about the training, especially the one that I did for that particular day. If you're new or relatively new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Everybody, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Forget how it makes me feel. While I'm live, it's more likely, the algorithms on this platform are more likely to ping my subscribers. I'm on the march to 1,600 subs right now. And on the replay, it's more likely to push out into the feeds of my subscribers the fact that the replay is available. So forget helping me, you are helping others of my students see these trainings more and more often. So big thumbs up. It's kind of like you're putting a tip in my jar. Okay. Made all my announcements. Greeted my peeps up front. Okay, so we're going to, how many of you have heard of the Home Edit? They are a very, very successful duo. They now have a team of employees, of course, but they started out as a duo. And they're like an organization company, and they now, of course, sell their organizers in places like the Container Store and stuff. They have an Instagram account that I know is way over 1 million subs. They're big about organization for better productivity, personally, professionally, or both. They do have a show on Netflix that literally is called The Home Edit. So let me know down below. I'm just kind of curious. Have you heard of The Home Edit before? Have you seen them? Christine's here from C Panel Jails. What's going on? Thumbs up and shared. Thank you so much, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do the training that I was going to do anyway. But I was like, wow, The Home Edit, a lot of people live and on the replay might have seen them, might have seen the show or whatever. They have a very concrete organizing process that I'm going to blend into the training that I've otherwise done before. I'm a business coach. I'm a content marketing, coach more specifically. And it's all about not just content marketing on social and on YouTube, maybe with blog posts and what have you off your website. It's more about content marketing for conversions. And I actually have a free group on Facebook. So if you want to join that, it is literally called Content Marketing for Conversions. And you get 2 freebies also if you go there as well. When I greet you, I'll tell you how you can get the freebies. Let's see. So organized professional lives, anything that I'm talking to you about in today's training, sure, you could use this for your personal life as well. But I like to shoot things through the lens of an entrepreneur. For the last 8 going on 9 years, I've been a business coach and I was an entrepreneur long before that. Okay. So I think that it is fair to say you've not heard of them, Mike. That's okay. Heidi says, never heard of them, but probably need to check them out. Amy Lindblade says she hasn't heard of it. Oh my God. They're like so hugely successful. And if you go to their Instagram, their feed is very gorgeous. And I often say to everybody, the days of like the perfectly looking, perfectly curated feeds are like, on Instagram, they're kind of by and large gone. People are fatigued on perfection. But for the home edit, because they are about organization, their stuff is very like pretty, perfect, perfect. But it kind of matches kind of the image that they feel they have to project given their business model. Okay. No one's ever heard of them out of this. Oh my gosh, you got to see them. They have books, everything. Holy schmoly. Well, anyway, I will get to that. Then you know what? At least for the people on the live, on the replay, I want to hear from you guys too. At least when I give you their 4-step process, you won't be bored of it and say, oh, I've heard of it before. So it actually isn't bad that you've not heard of them before. You like to binge stuff on Netflix, it might be a good thing to binge next. All right. So I think no matter what your business model is, hey, Lisa Garrett, what's going on? Miss Lisa, I think it's very important that you be organized, right? Because if everything's all clutter and confusion, obviously you're not going to be doing that well, right? And when I'm talking about reducing clutter and confusion from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I also mean reducing the clutter and confusion digitally, not just tangibly IRL or in real life, but digitally as well. Like we're all to some degree guilty of this. How many people have pictures on their phone that they just need to upload to like a cloud and they can get the pictures off their phone? Or, I have a ton of data and stuff on my phone, videos that I've shot and stuff, maybe even for content marketing for my business, and it's just trapped on my phone. How many people have desktops, right? I mean, you don't have to out yourself, but if you're brave, you can say I. How many people have desktops that are just like cluttered with a ton of stuff, right? Ideally, our desktop should just be our screensaver, right? And whatever's in our dock or our bar at the bottom, right? But like, who does that, right? So when I'm talking about reducing the clutter and confusion and introducing a system into your life that will help you, be more effective professionally, entrepreneurially, I am talking about digital as much as I am talking about physical stuff, right? And for my products based folks, whether you're handmade or not, I'm sure the tangle and the clutter and the confusion of, any sort of machinery or equipment or accoutrement like that, much less your materials, your ingredients, whatever. If you're not really very tightly organized, you're going to become overwhelmed. Your husband, wife, significant other, or roommate is going to be very overwhelmed, right? And if you've got kids, what kind of example are we all setting for our kids, right? So nobody's saying you have to go like from 0 to hero and be perfect. I'm just trying to plant seeds about adopting a system, and we can kind of like use the one from the home edit too, so that this way you can become more effective in terms of your business related organization, right? Because if the scales of your life are off balance, it doesn't do you any good. So one of the best ways to kind of like recalibrate your life professionally, I'm sure personally too, if you want to do it for your personal life also, is to find a healthy balance and get rid of anything, or deal with anything that screams of hot mess express. So that might be an email inbox that needs to be tamed. That might mean a desktop that needs to be cleaned off in real life or digitally, right? So, it might mean like cleaning out your office or your workbench or your workspace. It might mean cleaning out your physical files and organizing or reorganizing your digital files, your invoices, your receipts, client invoices, receipts, emails, have systems digitally for customer service. And what do you document? Just in case somebody circles back and says, hey, you never took care of this. No, here's proof I did. So you need to get to some degree, everybody, I'm not perfect either, although I gotta say overall I ain't bad, but everybody could get a little more cinched in, a little bit more, cleaned and organized. So I want you guys, whether you spend your next power hour, and we talked about that a lot yesterday. So if you skipped yesterday's training, you definitely want to clean that out. Hey, Miss Linda Nagoda, what's going on? Good to see you. Mike says 22,000 plus pictures alone on my phone. It's bad. I'm bad there too, dude. What I got a lot better about is when I shoot videos, at least, because they take up a ton of space, and I upload them into the G drive for my video editor Barney to take care of. I've gotten really good about cleaning out the videos at the very least on my phone. And then when I upload them to my desktop, I'm in an Apple ecosystem, so I can airdrop it. Thank God, that's so much easier. And I can airdrop the video even if it's a longer one. I can do that. And then when I upload it from there into the G drive, I've gotten really good about deleting the videos from the desktop because they're already in the G drive. And then if you have like a backup storage cloud, which I do content marketing for my business. I assist with content marketing for Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill. So I got to have backup storage clouds because I have a ton of their assets, a ton of my assets. With them, it's been since 2000, I want to say 16 on. Woo! And I helped them blow up inside of about two-ish years from barely profitable from 2002 to 2015, let's say, to a seven-figure business and definitely profitable, all through content marketing, because for the longest time, they didn't even have enough profitability to even run ads. So what I teach generally on my channel for the new or relatively new people, you want to make sure you check the playlists. You want to learn about content marketing on TikTok or content marketing with Instagram Reels or content marketing otherwise with Instagram and things like that. You definitely want to subscribe and check out my playlists when you're done here. Mike says we follow Joe's Dairy Barn, Mini Cowgirl. Yep. Stuff and Junk by Haiti says had a pool accident with my phone in February 2021. Oh, I'm sorry. So glad for the backup storage, but I know I lost a ton of photos and videos. That sucks. And so one of the systems, I'm sorry that happened to you, Heidi, but that reminds me to say one of the systems that we need is to make sure that things are backed up. So maybe it's a backup cloud of another storage cloud that we have. Maybe it's getting a system in place that we clean off our phone and we clean off desktop, laptops, other devices so that if something happens to the device, we're safe. And I used to say years ago that you would want like an external hard drive to back things up on. And I'm not saying that that's a bad idea. If you're already doing that and that's part of your system of backing up and protecting assets of yours and photos and videos and graphics that you might edit in a place like Canva or someplace else, like that's all cool. But like, you don't want to keep them on the devices. If something happens to the device, that's a problem. And what I found is that with external hard drives, they can get corrupted. So kind of like Heidi a couple of years ago, we had an older hard drive that just got corrupted and we should have, but we hadn't spent the time to take everything from the hard drive and put it into the security cloud that we've had now for years. So learn from my mistakes, learn from poor Heidi's thing. You want to make sure that you're not only keeping your devices clean, but that, things are not going into just physical backups. You still want to have an external hard drive. That's fine. But I'm still saying you need a security cloud, like a G drive to put things into, or Dropbox or something like that. So if you don't have that in place, that should either be on a to-do list, or if you're really tight for cash right now, that should be on a wish list. Bridget says, I started moving all my graphics and videos for each month to my Google Drive. Got a folder for each month and inside of that one for each year. That's a really good organizational system. So same thing for us where we have physical paperwork, like in the United States, this isn't tax advice, but this is issue spotting. In the United States, like if they do a random audit of your business, then that's a desk audit. You're sending things electronically, and if they're happy, they're happy. If for some reason they want to do a deeper dive or expand the scope of their audit, they can come to your home. If you don't have an office and you work from home, whatever business model you have, they'll come to your home. They'll sit there in your living room or in your dining room or whatever, and they're going to want to see the physical documents. Good golly, Miss Molly, if you don't have like a physical way to organize everything and life rings your bell like that, you're kind of screwed. And so getting a physical, you do have to keep like receipts. Like they don't do bills of lading so much if you get like office supplies shipped to you or whatever, but like receipts you need to keep. If you have manual receipts, because say you still run out to the Staples or you get stuff shipped to you or whatever, Like what I do with any manual receipts is like I will take the receipts, I will tape them to a piece of paper. I'll keep the original, but you also need to like take a shot like with your phone and upload a digital copy because those things can oxidize through the years no matter where you store them. And eventually you have a blankish looking receipt. So, like today, I just am planting seeds. We're going to get to the system in a minute that digitally and physically, like any sort of receipts, any sort of invoices, any sort of bills, any sort of write offs, any sort of assets that you're creating for your content marketing need to be organized. And to the extent that you need to do it personally, you do that too. But I'm not a more garden variety life coach. So we're going to kind of shoot things more so through the lens of entrepreneurially. But, hey, you can do that too. Stuff and Junk by Heidi says, I got a 2 terabyte external hard drive, less than $100. I also saved to a cloud and a third file to my computer. That is smart. That is smart. All right. So you might take some of your power hour time or all of it to remember we said power hour time isn't listening to me or someone else on YouTube or elsewhere. It's not just taking courses free or paid or whatever. I don't count that as power hour time. Power hour time for me, as we discussed yesterday, so go watch the 19th video in the playlist, right? We talked about how power hour time is really for implementation only. Because if you're not implementing in your business, you could sit there and take all the trainings, read all the books, and diddle around and be like, well, I spent an hour on my business today. You did, but you didn't do anything to implement to concretely make your business a thing in this world or more of a thing in this world. So that's why I'm saying power hour time has to be about implementation. But I'll tell you, amongst all the various things that we discussed yesterday that you could make as part of your power hour, even if you have to split it into two 30-minute hemispheres, one in the beginning of the day, one in the end of the day, because you can't do a whole 60-minute hour in a row, given your facts and circumstances, fine. Don't care. 2 hemispheres, 30 minutes apiece will count, or 4 15-minute quads, time lapsed out over your very busy day. You can still get a power hour in for your business every single day. If your business is kind of done whenever you have spare time, sorry, you have a hobby. And even if it's a profitable hobby, it's a hobby. You are not working your business like a business if you can't commit an hour every single day to your business. And again, if you need to take Saturday or Sunday off for religious reasons, I hear you, but then that just means you tack that extra power hour or sprinkle it across the 6 days that you can work. I've heard it all. And believe me, 8-9 years of coaching, I've heard, if I haven't heard it all, I've heard a lot. Okay. So let me go through more of the training, and I will definitely read more of the comments. So I want you to spend some of your power hour time if you need to. And in most cases, some of us need to do this a little bit. Getting yourself organized digitally, getting a file system if you really haven't had one, or you've been kind of lackadaisical and sloppy jalopy about it, and kind of get those things together, up and running, shored up, and then work on a system so that, again, like I said, I might be shooting a video on my phone, but my system is to get it off my phone immediately. And in my case, because I'm in an Apple ecosystem, I'll just airdrop it to my desktop. I'll upload it from the desktop into the cloud. This is already deleted off my phone. Okay. It doesn't even have time to go into my iCloud. It's gone as fast as it's on there. And then I'll make sure that it's deleted from the desktop after it's in the G drive where Barney and I and the rest of my staff work in and out of. And then I have a backup cloud where I'm also going to push the files up into there that nobody but me and one other person on my team have access to. God forbid something happens digitally in one place, I'm backed up in another. I personally have been burned by external hard drives, so I don't use them anymore. But if you do, at least make sure you have one parallel digital backup, and then I think you're fine, because these things break, they get corrupted, they get corroded. It's just a pain. The external hard drive, when I say these things. And if you have to organize or reorganize, if you're like a products-based business, handmade or not, you have to organize or reorganize like materials and ingredients and equipment and all of that stuff. Maybe there's a better way to store your equipment or a better way to work your work area and organize it. That's something that you could do too during a power hour that will help you to not have like haystacks of crazy going on in your life. I'm not saying it's impossible to be vastly successful in haystacks of crazy. It's like haystacks took acid and everything's like crazy around you. Some people can get away with that, but statistically speaking, most people can't, right? So even if you hate housework, if you really love your business and profitability, I'm like imploring you to take getting organized very seriously. And I'm about to get into the home edit part of the training because I'll introduce you to their 4-step process and then how I would work that out with being an entrepreneur. Okay. So if you're kind of like a bless this mess kind of person with your office, with your materials, with your tax records, with anything entrepreneurially, you're kind of engaging to some degree in self-sabotaging behavior. Maybe there's a small percentage of you that kind of was just flying by the seat of your pants. You'd never really considered having systems and having backups and stuff. You never really considered this before. So I'm going to leave you out of it. But for the rest of you, where you keep knowing that you need to like get your stuff together so that when you go to your CPA, tax barrister, or tax expert, you're not giving them a whole shoebox full of just haystacks of crazy on acid, right? Or you do your own bookkeeping and stuff, but you wait till the last minute every month. And so you have haystacks of crazy to deal with. When you're just logging in everything. So when you do your quarterly or annual taxes, however you do it, okay, like how many of you even wait in America until like mid-April or early to mid-April to start getting serious about your taxes? And then your hair's on fire and you're all stressy and you have to make sure everything gets time stamped April 15th or whatever. You don't need to live your life that way. And that's a lot of pressure, stress, and noise that you can edit out so that you're not engaging in what really is, to some degree, some self-sabotaging behavior by living your entrepreneurial life, at least, in so much upheaval that honestly, how can you do anything more than you're already doing? Everything's so crazy. It's all you can do to keep all this afloat. No, kind of busted, because once you get everything organized, cleaned out, and you have systems so that your phone doesn't suddenly get too full, or your laptop or desktop suddenly says you can't record any more material, you're out of space on your hard drive. That should never happen. I had it happen to me within the last year, and I was like, darn. So that's how I got a lot more. I have to take my own advice sometimes in the interest of full disclosure. I might have had a bunch of other great systems going on in the background, but I learned to take very seriously getting stuff off my phone, stuff off my desktop where I tend to do the rest of my work, and then into a storage cloud. I was pretty good about backups for anything that I would put into that storage cloud, but now there's a lot more in my clouds because there's a lot more off of my desktop and my phone, right? So, you want to make sure that your personal home office, your workspace, even if you don't have a personal home office, whatever area of the house that you have claimed to do work at when you can, because I know not everybody has the luxury of a spare bedroom or something to do their stuff out of, you've got to make sure that you're super diligent that that is cleaned up, okay? And that is organized so that when you can actually spend power hour implementing in terms of your work, products, handmade products-based businesses, you can create more product or ship it out or whatever. You want things to be a more well-oiled machine. So to whatever extent that hasn't gone on in your life and you recognize that, you need to make sure that you are being very intentional, very strategic, and you're implementation beast now. And part of your, if not all of your, depending upon your facts and circumstances, power hour is spent getting everything under control, right? There should be an endpoint where it's doing primal scream cleaning and primal scream organizing, and then your system's in place and you're just keeping up with that from day to day. Okay, so and being organized definitely will give you a major leg up in terms of getting more things done faster and more effectively. If you don't believe me, I've got 2 quick examples to give you that will give you like some inspiration. And then we're going to go into the home edit 4-step process that I would have you go through, whether it's cleaning and organizing physical things in an office or in your home or workspace to your digital stuff. Give you a good idea. So, first of all, Khan Academy, Khan Academy, two separate words. That is a huge multiple 7-figure success that began in a converted walk-in closet in Sal Khan's Silicon Valley home. What began as a one-man tutoring situation where he was tutoring his cousin while he was working out of that closet ultimately grew into, in a very short time, like, I don't know, it was like within maybe a year or two or something like that, it grew into an 80-person organization, which runs a global classroom. So you can look up Khan Academy as a YouTube channel if you want to see that. If you don't like that example, you can fly from the West Coast, where Khan Academy began, to the East Coast, where in Manhattan, it's very commonplace for closet space to be organized into living space and or office space, where it's super organized and optimized, and you basically are working out of the functional equivalent of a shoebox. So you've got to do what you've got to do, right? So I do have a book to recommend to you, and then I'm going to work in the home edit stuff, and then I'll catch up with my comments. So the best book that I've seen in years on the topic of organizing personally, professionally, or both, besides the home edits book, is The Life-Changing The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, Kondo, right? So let's get into the 4 steps of the home edit. The home edit team swears by 4 concrete steps in their organizing process, whether they're organizing a home, they're organizing an office, it doesn't matter. These are the 4 steps that they go through. So I want you, when you're like attacking a space or attacking, your workshop or your office or whatever, use these 4 steps and kind of do these things in this order. Edit, categorize, contain, and maintain. So I'll do it again. Edit, categorize, contain, and maintain. So once everything's done with the first 3 steps, the 4th step is just having a maintenance plan in place. So let's look at edit. When you edit things digitally, when you're going through your phone, any sort of accidental pictures can definitely be edited out. You have a young kid that grabbed your phone. I've had this happen in prior years, and they're taking pictures of the walls and the floors. They're taking video of silly things that you don't need. Those are very easy things to edit out to at least thin the herd and reduce the chaos and confusion a lot. Okay. When you're organizing your home office, let's say, you can go through and edit out any sort of like trash, unnecessary duplicates. You would combine and condense materials, ingredients, whatever. If you're going through file folders and you're like, I don't need these things, or it's a duplicate here, I don't know why I made 5 copies of this, 1 or 2 is enough. You can shred, you can dump, you can donate, you can toss anything that's broken and you're like, nah, never mind, right? So that's kind of edit physically or digitally, right? And then categorizing is important. Just like Bridget said, having, like, say, for example, a digital file folder system where maybe you have a file for every single year that you do things, and then you click into the file. And then, of course, there's 12 months in the year. So there's a file for every single month. And then you go in and maybe you're working on content for a month in advance. Like, that's why I'm selling the February popularity plan now, because my students were like, make sure you give us enough time so that, try and sell it at least a week before the upcoming month that we're going to use it, because we need to have time during our power hours where we're implementation beasts to, download the stuff, to edit anything that we need to edit, fill in any blanks, tweak in any language, and then load things into our auto posting system, like Later or something like Later, for the social media posts. You remember the 15 graphics with the 15 corresponding captions. There you have it. Or, the emails, the 4 emails that come with that bundle. You can, fill in the blanks, tweak the language. If you want to add pictures because your PS is like, you use the coupon code, or here's a sale, or I'm launching something in the PS or the postscript for those emails, you can put in any graphics that you want. Emails don't always have to have graphics to be effective either. So if you're just going to straight up send a relationship marketing based email or a quick reminder with just a coupon code and no pretty graphics, that's fine. Be pretty, that's nice. You don't have to be. But you can get those scheduled into your email service provider's auto scheduling system for your emails. Okay. So we went through edit, categorize, make sure you have folders or physical folders, make sure those things are alphabetized or in a, in a system that makes sense for you. Contain, because maintain is just when you're done, it's maintenance. So we're on the third step, contain. Contain may mean anything from physical containers that you buy, right? So that you stay very organized. So if you need a file folder system, you need the file cabinet, you need the hanging folders, right? You might need a color coded folder system for certain things if those things lend themselves well. Or if you've got a lot of equipment or ingredients, you might need a container system so that you can have a stack of maybe trays that you pull out to get to certain pieces of ingredients or materials, right? Or maybe you have a tray system where you pull out something because you're writing up an invoice. I mean, a lot of people are doing things digitally now, but stickers, okay, for those people who are shipping out products, handmaids or not, if there's inserts, have a system. You might need a container system so that you can pull stuff out a lot faster. You can store stuff. Clear containers are becoming much more hot because all at a glance you can look, see, and pull what you need. And if you look at the home edit on Instagram, you can see a lot of examples of what those container systems look like. And that might be able to, this isn't sponsored by the home edit or anything, by the way, but you can look at all of the different containers that they have, that they use, and go, oh, wow, they're doing that in a food pantry. But I could imagine a similar system in a closet or a section of my home office or my workspace. Okay, so now I know there's a lot of comments. Let me catch up with those. Did really good until around here. And for those people who can, also keep in mind, any equipment you buy, any organizers that you buy that are completely for your home office, keep those receipts, print them out if they're digital or whatever, and talk to your tax expert about what you can write off against interest or against income. Sorry. Not tax advice, just tax issue spotting. I'm going to take a sip and I'm going to start reading more of the comments. And if you guys have any advice or any sort of resources that you like, definitely put it down here. And Catherine Baril, welcome. Good to see you. Tiffany says, I lost so many phones and even a laptop hard drive many moons ago. I learned my lessons. Everything goes to 2 different clouds and a backup external hard drive and SD cards. Overkill? Maybe. I don't know, because again, if you really love external hard drives and you're like, I just don't want to wean myself off of them, then you would do that for personal comfort. But God forbid, if anything happens to the SD cards and or the external hard drive, you don't care because you have 1, if not 2, digital backup clouds. To me, if you have 1 backup cloud, you should have another. There are some backup cloud systems that you're actively putting everything into one cloud. But another cloud is just linked up and will automatically, I think you set it up. Is it hourly? Is it daily? It'll just make another parallel copy and you don't have to do everything manually. Tiffany says, I have 3 clouds. Some things don't like to back up to certain drives, but I mainly use 1. Yeah, I need to go through so much stuff and get all that organized. Yes. And any sort of duplicates that you can edit out, right? So you can get rid of those things. It's called ADHD. Stacey, I've learned to stop beating myself up over my inability to always be extremely organized. That's not entirely true. I beat myself up about it. I love being organized. There's nothing wrong with being organized. And if you legit have ADHD, then you know you've gotten a formal diagnosis. They have things that they recommend. There are Facebook groups for those that have ADHD, so that they can be more effective at their implementation. Because, you know, if you're OCD and or ADHD, you can end up being in just loops where it seems like there's a lot of activity going on, because there is. And yes, you are implementing typically, and that's better than not. But like, are you just implementing in like a tiny, tight little concentric circle? So, like, you know, your business isn't really rolling along past that certain point, you know, like, again, that's like why I say for the power hour for people. And I'm not saying that about Tiffany. That isn't directly at Tiffany. That's anybody who's listening live or on the replay. Oh, by the way, can you guys give this video a thumbs up if you like anything that you're hearing? If you want to help me to reach more of my students, both live and on the replay, I'd really love to see that thumbs up count go up. Not for me personally, I could care less, but I just know how the algorithm goes. So the more people that are pushing that thumbs up button, the more it helps. Oh, yay, you have a lanai. You used it as your studio. Tiffany cleaned up, not so much, but I know where everything is. Yes, that does count. Otherwise, my power hour gets spent on being OCD organizing. But to some large degree, if you need that, then that's time well spent. That is implementation. But it becomes nothing but concentric circle trapped within in housekeeping if we don't get out of that at some point. And again, this is not directed at Tiffany. This is for anybody else listening to this. At some point, we have to implement to do our content marketing to drive more traffic to our business so that statistically speaking, we just do more business. Yes, and Khan Academy legit started in a closet. You can Google that. It's like part of the love song of where he started. So timely. We're moving my workspace into our spare room since I never get to the shop anymore, pitching and donating so much stuff, says Bridget. Yup. That's editing, because that's going to thin the herd and reduce the clutter and confusion so that what's left over, then you go from the edit stage to categorizing, and then where applicable, containing, which for most things it's applicable. It's just digitally, are you containing them in a folder system that makes sense to you? And in Bridget's case, I know you are. You know, in terms of physical stuff, do we need containers to be more effective, or do we have them and we never onboarded everything into the container system? Because I've had students that say that too. Make sure you turn your receipts into your tax expert that's doing your taxes for you. And that includes for storage clouds and external hard drives and organizing systems and file folders and all of those things. Bridget says, Tiffany, ADHD is a superpower. At least that's what I tell myself. La 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 la. I was half kidding, mostly because I know Stacey will probably yell at me. Nah. Bridget says, yeah, we have an RV. If someone comes to visit, the room is now mine. Three clouds. Skip. I can't usually, but Bridget says, I can't usually, but a whole power hour because of my ADHD, but I do set a timer for 10 minutes, one bite at a time, right? Yes. And including for folks that have ADHD brains. And I know Bridget legitimately has had a diagnosis of that. Sometimes people claim they're ADHD and they may or may not be. It's better to go get the diagnosis and know for sure. If you consider yourself OCD, maybe you are, maybe you're not. It's important to go to the right healthcare provider, especially if you have insurance. It's probably going to be a simple copay. Depending upon your insurance, you may or may not need a direct referral. Go get this stuff documented, and then they can help you with like real, like, you know, implementable things. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to throw medicine at everybody, and medicine isn't to me always the answer, but, you know, go to the experts and let them tell you have it and what to do and what to not do. And I'm not saying anybody here is self-diagnosing, but whenever we self-diagnose, it's almost like we don't want to go and get the official word, because then we're afraid they're going to take away that excuse. I've had students who I've had to say that to, and they were scared to go, because if I don't have OCD or I don't have ADHD, then what do I have? You may have something. Let them go figure that out. But if you don't have anything, then maybe it's just a point of saying, I have to nail my feet to the floor, and I can't kind of have a way to fail with honor or not be as efficacious or effective because of something that I may or may not have. So I am all about people going and getting their diagnoses, because then the experts can give you like a ladder of stuff to work up to help yourself. But for those that actually do have ADHD, then I don't care if you set a timer for 10 minutes at a shot times 6 of those sessions time lapsed over a day, because at least you have implementation based time. Because I know people who, where they do have ADHD, it's kind of like after a certain point nailing jello to a wall or trying to herd cats. It's, if you're herding cats, it's only going to work for so long. So 10-minute increments, I would applaud that. La, 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 la. Tiffany says she definitely needs to have a separate space altogether. With fumes and particles, it's hard for her to work indoors, so she has to, rope off outdoor space. That makes sense given her business model. And yes, if anything, I need to organize my indoor office and my computer, tablets, and phones more than my studio outside. It's been on the list. Okay. All right, so that's fine. Does anyone have any questions about the stuff that we talked about today? Anything that anyone wants to share when it comes to organizing their digital and or their physical stuff? Let me know. Again, the popularity plan for February is available now. I put a link down below to it, and it's already in the show notes for people who are watching on the replay. So you can click on it. It's going to be available through the weekend. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about what you can do in a mobile sense so that you're always ready for business, no matter what, no matter where you are in real life, whether it involves kids or dependents, or you're just out and about on the fly. Different, excuse me, need a drink. I'm a little parsed. Different ways for you to get your business out there and to make more connections and network and possibly even sales. Woo! Tiffany says, I have medication therapy, but after 15 years of it, it all starts to lose its effect. Less doctors, less accessible with COVID. It's okay. I will survive. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. I will survive, she says. Again, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. If you're watching on the replay, yes, I want to see #replay in the comments so I can give you a thumbs up and a heart, so that this way you know that even if you weren't with us live, I've got thousands of students across the world. I've got them on almost every content. And of course, they're in every time zone. So not everybody's ever going to be with us live, even if I go earlier or later. So I just want to make sure that I'm acknowledging you. And if you have any questions or you have any sort of organizing tips from an entrepreneur's standpoint, you can share them too, right? Because some of the students who are here on the live will circle back and listen again on the replay. And I said herd cats, HERD, like you're herding cattle, Tiffany. That's okay. All right. It's herding cats, not hurting cats, but that's okay. The way I talk, sometimes it might not be clear. I'll blame me. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Otherwise, tomorrow we are going to talk about how to be entrepreneurs in a mobile sense. Going once, going twice. Sold. Okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.